This is Obidient Family TV. Welcome once again, and we are here live at Obidient Women. We're talking about the women behind the Obidient campaign, and with me is the handsome.
Wow. Hi, my name is P. Kat. You're welcome to the program today.
Okay, and also with us is
Jessica Chinwe. Welcome to the program.
Alright, I don't need to tell you she's beautiful, you can't see that. My name is Sharon Enemchuku, and today we're talking about the women behind the Obidient campaign. Let's start talking about the contributions that they have been making so far in these elections and their support to our principal, Mr. Peter Obi. Let's start with Aisha Yusufu. We have Aisha Yusuf, we have Indicator, who is an official spokesperson. We have Nana Kazuri, who is also an official spokesperson. Okay, so I watched an interview recently where Indicator was mentioning, I think on Arise TV, I'm not sure, that this is the first time that a presidential candidate is having women as official spokespersons for the candidates, and it's just amazing because you hear when other opposition parties talk about unifying Nigeria, all-inclusive government, and you don't even see that from their campaigns to maybe past records. But let's talk a little about how Mr. Peter Obi has been able to not just show us, but to prove that his government is going to be all-inclusive. Now, on his list of spokesperson, Indicator, I'm going to be talking about what she said in an interview where she was talking about how women needs to be included in politics and how it's high time. And yet, I think the day before yesterday, I'm not sure, when Mr. Peter Obi was in Duce, right? And he was talking about how the involvement of women in government is crucial, and that is why the logo for Labour Party has a woman in it. That's the place of a woman in nation building is really, really important. So let's, I'm going to be asking, we're going to be throwing ourselves questions. So it's not just me asking the questions now. My first question, first of all, I'm going to ask this to Mr. Pikat, the only man in our midst.
Thank you for that.
Okay, so Mr. Pikat, we have seen this women, Indicator, Aisha Yusufu, Nana Kazuri, and the likes of them. And I remember one time doing one show, Jessica, you mentioned that most people in politics, no, not most, some of these women in politics are widows. But then he also pointed out that these people, some of these people are also married. Now, my question to you, Mr. Pikat, is can you marry a woman who has political ambitions, and will you support her if she does? Be honest. Why are you laughing so much?
I like that
answer.
I like that.
Or do you want me to give you the answer that you want to hear?
Obidient Family TV. What do you answer?
What's the difference? Just tell us what you think.
Please,
Okay, marry a woman that has political ambition. There are so many things involved in this. Okay, your woman doesn't just pick up a political ambition overnight. Okay, so from dating stage, you should know, like I should know, if since I'm the one you're asking the question now.
Yeah.
I should know that this is what I'm in for.
Yes.
There will be signs. Probably she may have held positions in the university or department, faculty, that kind of thing. That's when you see such tendencies.
Or she talks a lot about politics, you know.
Again, she's very interested, you know, that kind of thing. Okay, so if we can kick it at that stage and understand each other and, you know, go along and go ahead to get married, I don't think there will be a problem eventually when she picks up a political portfolio. Okay, I think it's a plus. What we see in Nigeria these days is people going into politics for money, to acquire wealth and power. Okay, so there are very few people that go into politics because of the sake of leadership and making a difference in that. Okay, so when you see someone that has good intentions, talking about the ladies that we just mentioned, Aisha Yusufu, Indicator, Nana Kazuri, in fact, these are excellent women. You see that they didn't just go into politics because they want to make money, okay? Unlike many of our politicians. They started as activists,
Yes.
okay, championing the cause for
Yes.
women or for children or what have you. So that is how it should start. Okay, you should have a passion for the people. Okay, and when you see someone that has a passion for the people, that such a person has a large heart. Okay, so what I'm just trying to say is that I wouldn't have a problem if she's going into politics for the right reasons. Simple and short.
I think that settles it.
Yeah.
For the right reason.
It doesn't settle it for me.
To me, I think it does.
It doesn't settle it for me because you answered this you answered this very cornily, but let's just leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. Okay, so I'm just going to be giving a little bit on the background of some of these women. So Ndikato is the executive director at Dini Dari Africa. She's a political analyst. She is a minority rights activist and all those beautiful things. Then we're going to look at Aisha Yusufu, who is also an activist, but she will be rather referred to as an active Nigerian. She's a campaigner and founder of Citizens Hub. Now, these are strong, will I call it CVs?
Yes,
if I had this CV, what would I do if I had that CV? I would run for presidency.
Are you serious?
Why not?
Nice.
Why not? Okay, so let's move on. Thank you very much for that answer. It was really smart. Thank you. All right, let's go on to the next. Let's talk about the background of some of these women. First of all, Aisha Yusufu is someone who grew up. She's not a Northerner, but she's from Edo State. But a lot of people believe that she's a Northerner. That's because she was born and bred in Kano State, and she grew up as a Muslim. She practices the Islamic religion, and in the environment that she grew up in, it's not one that really
favors women.
That gives them the platform to air their views and to speak up and all of that. So now let's talk about how what she turned out to be. Not just how, we're also going to look at Ndikato, what she turned out to be and the contrast with her background and how her background did not put her back on the ground.
I love that, Ryan.
I know, too much wisdom. Okay, how her background did not put her back on the ground, and how it has even, how will I say it, it contributed to who she has become right now. What would you say was the reason why that didn't happen? The reverse didn't happen, but the positive happened.
I think, let me refer to what Pika said, right?
Okay.
Because before anyone venture into something, there must be traces of that thing that they eventually do.
Yeah.
For instance, maybe she came from that background, but then she is motivated in another way.
Okay.
Maybe she has been this activist right from a young age, because while our age mates were getting married at age 11, she didn't get married. She was already portraying that aspect of her, that I have my own voice, I am different. So I don't think there is any difference based on how she grew up, and who she is currently. It's been showing from the onset.
From the onset.
Yes, that's what I think.
Yeah, that's very apt, because you know how she mentioned that when she was 11, her friends were getting married, and at 24, when she herself got married, those her friends were already grandmothers. So it kind of showed that where she comes from, her background, her cultural background, is they value marriage and early marriage for that matter. So women are not being given the chance or the platform to dream beyond having a good man, having a good husband, having children, bearing children and all that.
And speaking about, sorry for cutting you short, speaking about husband, I heard that she was the one who went first. Unlike the other. So it shows that this woman she wooed her husband, guys.
Okay, ask her
something.
Yes.
So let me ask you.
Okay.
I know you already know what I have to ask you.
No, I do not.
So this is sounding like a relationship talk show. But it's not. But would you do that because she said that you want to vie for the post of presidency in the future?
I would.
You just said it, so we're going to this is already captured. In the future, we're going to play this video again, and people will hear you, so it's fine. Don't worry, you already said it.
Jessica, please, can you go on with the question?
I want to ask her, would you actually woo a man first?
I can.
You can? Are you sure?
I can't.
Why are you stuttering? It shows that you're not even sure.
I didn't say I would. I said I could. I would.
So, but Ndikato wooed her husband?
No,
Aisha.
Yes,
she would her husband.
She went first, like that.
And then that just goes to show the kind of courage.
Exactly, it's not there.
Let's also dive to Indicator for a little minute. You know how she's single right now, but she has a child, and she mentioned she mentioned something how men in politics don't take her seriously because she's not married, and you know Nigeria and how the kind of value they place on marriage. So if you're not married, they don't regard you as much. She was running for a position in Southern Kaduna, right? And she was reliving her experience, and it was not funny. First of all, she talked about the cost of running for these political positions, and you know, we've already treated that before. But in the sense of being fearless, we see this woman who is single with a child and is still vying for political positions, whether you like it or not, whether you approve of it or not. That is an alpha woman, and I'm seeing it also in Aisha Yusufu. Let's also talk about the fact that the people behind Obidati's campaign team are just, how do I say it, their integrity is something to admire, in the sense that Aisha Yusufu has said it, Indicator has said it, Nana Kazuri has said it as well, that they are not just there to answer, oh, His Excellency. They are there to question him and to bring him to book. I don't know how many of our leaders in, you know, different parties would appreciate that, would do that, or to even listen. Now, let's also look at the dynamics that brings to Labour Party and the advantage it gives Mr. P2B, because I feel personally, you can say if I'm wrong, but I feel that one of the problems our leaders have is that the people in their corner are not telling them the truth.
Exactly, they have bad advisors.
They have really, I don't even think they have any advisors.
I think they do.
Okay, yes, okay, they do. But I just feel like they're not giving them quality or good advice. And that's something I'm happy that Mr. P2B has. So let's look at a little about what these women have said in the past. Aisha Yusufu the other day was talking about the gender equality bill that I think at Abuja that they wanted to pass, but it didn't work out because these men in the Senate refused. She mentioned how men treat equality in Nigeria. You know, they only say, a man and a woman can't be equal when it favors the man. But then when a man is, when you are competing for a political position, you don't come to me and say, oh, she's a woman, I'm not going to allow you vote for me, let just the men vote for me and all that. And then it's really intriguing. Why do you think men do that? I really want to believe they have a good reason.
I'm just waiting for Pikachu to answer all these questions, and I have questions for you. Yes.
You have more questions for me?
Yes, just a few of them.
Okay, so you want to know why men do what?
Why do they, when it comes to equality, why is it only when it favors them that they remember that women are not equal to them? But then when they want to get something out of women, then they are equal. For example, when you are running for a political post, you come to women and canvass for votes from them. But when women are fighting to be treated as human beings or more than second-class citizens, then men remember that that women are not equal to them. Why?
Nobody says women are not equal.
I don't think
do you know why? Do you know why I said this? Do you know why I said this? Because I saw a clip. I saw a clip where in the House of Assembly, where they were, deliberating on that bill, a man stood up. I can't remember his name exactly, but a man stood up and said that our religion, the Islamic religion, does not accept this. In my own words, he doesn't accept women being equal with men. And then someone was trying to say, no, it's not about equal. It's about equal opportunities. Do you understand? But what we are trying to say is that why was this when it was not benefiting him that he remembered that women are not equal? Yes,
this is the human nature playing out, okay? And humans are selfish, okay? They're very selfish and think about themselves first, and especially for our politicians. And it's a male-dominated Senate and field, okay, when you look at the political atmosphere in Nigeria. So it's what works for them. You understand. So they need the women for the votes and elections, but they somehow don't want to be dragging for offices with women. Table. You understand? So they just feel like they can push the women aside, okay, with their strength. Both financial strength and physical strength. Okay, so they tend to dominate. Dominate over the women. So, but it's like I said earlier, it's human nature, and they're just looking for self-preservation and survival, you know, at the office. So it's a battle that women will have to fight forever.
Are you serious?
Yeah. You don't think there's a time when we'll stop fighting that battle?
It's Africa, it's Nigeria, it's going to take
But then we were saying it was Africa and Nigeria until Mr. Peter B, you know, started coming out for presidency. Don't you think that would change something? Maybe not completely, but...
Yes, of course, there will be a change. There will be a change when women start holding more positions in government and are being encouraged to vie for political offices. And you know, when women, other younger women start seeing that people are representing them in these offices, they'll be motivated to still pursue their ambitions too. And then we'll have more females in the system.
I totally agree. And we'll be talking about the impact that these women have had on not just younger women, but every Nigerian youth home and abroad. Let's go on a quick break. And when we come back, we'll be talking more about that. Don't go nowhere.
Hello. This is my message to the Nigerian youths. I am glad that we have this great opportunity to discuss about the future of this country, Nigeria. Nigeria belongs to all of us, but to the youths most especially. I am super proud of what the youths have done, the realization that indeed the power lies with the youth. Indeed, successive governments and leadership have failed the youth. They've dismissed their capacity, the creativity, innovation. And this is why we are where we were. I am here to speak to you that not only am I proud of you, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, is super proud of you. We are proud of the movement you're leading and all the sacrifices being made for a better Nigeria. I can tell you, Peter Obi means well for Nigerian youths. He will run a youth-inclusive government and purposeful leadership that will usher in a new dawn for generations to come. Job issues, unemployment, and indeed all the other hazards that we face as a younger generation, I believe will be a thing of the past, at least reduced significantly. I'm here to remind you that we are the last lap of this race when we all need to come to the consciousness that the effort we're going to put in the next coming weeks can change our trajectory completely and positively. So I want to urge you, do what you can to keep on the fight until a better Nigeria is achieved. You need to make sure that you realize again that you're actually the one running for presidency, just using Peter Obi and Dati Baba Ahmed as symbol. We are coming for a better Nigeria. This is time to vote for Labour Party. The logo is Papa, Mama, Pikin, or LP. On that day, come out in mass, show your energy, show your creativity, do everything you need to do positively to make sure your votes count. That means wait until the end. I am thankful to God for what the Nigerian youths are doing. God bless you all. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back from that break. This is still Obidient Family TV and we are on Obedient Women. We've been talking about a lot of interesting things and I've had with me on the show Mr.
P. Catch right here.
Okay, and the ever beautiful, glowing Jessica. Oh, I like to call your name though. All right, it is still Sharon and Chuku right here, and we're going to be discussing a little bit before we talk about the reasons why our youths and women also have been disinterested in politics and anything that has to do with Nigerian government, to be real. Okay, the first question I want to ask, who should I ask? Jessica or Pikash? I think I've asked you Don't worry. Let me just ask you, Jessica, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So personally, let's be practical here. These women that have been doing so much, that are trailblazers in our political scene, do you think that they've had any personal impact on you as a person, as a young woman in Nigeria? Do you feel that they have inspired you in any way?
Of course. I don't think that should be a question. It should just be, Jessica, I know they've inspired you because they've done a lot. And I think that one narrative they try to change is anybody can speak out. Own your voice. Because there was something that's Tonto Dike, you know, this popular actress.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she said something. No, she's vying for a post, I don't know. Senator or governor, I don't know which particular one, but then she's into politics.
The deputy governor of Lagos State.
Yeah. But then she was like, people are talking about change, you know, and then she came out to vie for this post, but then they are saying things against her. Now, one of the reasons why she, you know, came out is because of Aisha.
Really?
Yes, and Aisha has been this advocate for speak out. I mean, she has been speaking out. She has been an activist. So the change that we want will be the ones to, you know, bring it to reality. True. So definitely we need to put ourselves outside. We need to speak up. We need to own our voice. So I think she played a huge role when it comes to speaking out as a person or as a woman.
As a woman.
Yeah, so to me, I think I'm inspired, and definitely, I don't know if I will go into politics soon, but then I always own my voice anywhere I find myself. Like when I know that this is the truth, I want to let you all know. I want to speak out. I want to, you know, represent.
I think it was, I wouldn't say recently that it hit me. I've always loved these women and what they've been doing. But I'll confess that it was recently that I think when I started reading about their background and how they started, they had such ordinary background that I could relate to. Yes. And I could see where they were coming from. I thought to myself, if these people came from such background, there is so much that I can do. Do you understand?
Yes.
Maybe we don't notice it. Maybe it's a subconscious thing, I'm not sure. But there's a limit that we've placed on the kind of dreams that we can have
as women, right?
Yes, as women. On how big. Okay, I remember when I was still not eligible to vote, and when I turned 18, I had friends that were asking me questions. Oh, okay, now you're 18, are you going to vote? Vote. I'm not. Why? Because then it didn't make sense. How do I say? Voting then was just something that I don't know if everybody came one day to agree on it. That our votes will not count, or it doesn't count, or maybe it's because of the kind of disappointment that our leaders has, you know, shown us, the kind of shege that they have shown us. And at that young age, I just knew. Imagine that. Before 18, I already knew that my vote doesn't count. And when I got to 18, I just wanted to open a bank account. I didn't have any interest on getting my PVC. So that's that, and these women have really started to widen my horizon and expand just how much I can dream. And I think I don't know if I'll go into politics yet.
But you said you're going to become the president of Nigeria.
I was just holding on to this. I was just saying that if I don't have that kind of CV or credentials yet, so if you know. Okay, Mr. Pikachu, you've been quiet for too long. I don't like when you're quiet. Should I ask you a question? Okay, I am going to ask you a very small question. We've seen how women have been supporting our principal in person of Mr. P2B. And I just wanted to ask, what do you think that this alliance between women and Mr. P2B says about not just his campaign, but about his person and his government?
Okay, yes. P2B was one time governor of Anambra State for 2 terms. Okay, and during those 2 terms, he had women in government. A lot of his commissioners were women. Okay, and I think his philosophy about women in power is that they are less corrupt and they are more efficient,
more passionate
and goal-driven. You know, so I think we've tried the male-dominated government or governance before. Maybe it's time to try the one of women too.
Yes. A breath of fresh air.
You know, because women are more passionate, and like Mr. Peter pointed out, maybe less corrupt. Maybe this is the time to put it to the test.
No, not maybe, because I actually did a research on that, and another, was it Hive that conducted the research? It's this foreign research agency or something that did that, and it actually it came out the same as what P2B said, because they conducted this on over 3,000 women and men in different work spaces. So yes, women are no. Mr. P2B said that women work harder at their jobs than men. So yeah, they do.
I think maybe because the men have much responsibility.
No, it's the women that have much responsibility and they still come out doing well.
But you're aware that women have there's a disadvantage for the women. Okay.
What area?
Listen now. Maybe we're working in the same space and you're married. Now, a woman has to attend to her husband and her children. When she gets pregnant, she goes on maternity leave, and she stays away from work for about maybe 3 months, depending on the office. Okay, so these are some of the things that employers face when employing women, and they'll rather go for men than women because of these baggages. And then let's not forget the monthly visitor that women have.
How is that a problem?
So it could also affect their mood and productivity.
It is actually
at the office.
It's not every woman that goes through pain during her monthly cycle or whatever. It's not everybody.
Well, I think we should, women should be given
I don't even think that should be on the table, the reason why.
But then I think I understand this point though, but then if you are pregnant, you cannot, or after you're done with the whole stuff, you can't be coming to the office. You still have to. So I think they consider all of this thing, and they will want to place men in power or place men in that position. And I don't think that is bad or wrong.
I just feel they should have more, they should accommodate women more, and not just because this is something that you can't control, then they give you conditions on something that is natural that you can't control. Do you understand? Because if you say I totally agree with pregnancy, of course you have to go on maternity leave and everything, but there are women that still choose to come back sooner than most women would. So I feel like it's also an individual thing. And you mentioned the monthly period as well. It's not, it doesn't happen that way for everybody. There are women that don't even experience, they don't even know what pain is during that period. So yes, I totally understand where you're coming from, but yeah, that's just my own view. I just feel like they should accommodate women more. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the reasons why youth and women have not been actively involved in politics until now. So we're going to be looking at some of these things during an interview, the things that I've gathered from people. Let's talk about what 2015 elections did to people. You know how we had the gospel of change. Oh, I'm going to turn dollar from this to this to 1 naira. I'm going to do this and that, and we believed so much. Not me though, but a lot of Nigerians seem to have believed that. So they believed that and they bought into it. They came out en masse and they voted and they forced their hand. Simpler terms. Okay, and I feel like that's just, it just dampened the kind of, how would I say, the kind of expectation. It's dampened the expectations quite all right, but then it's made them take a sit back. I felt like then they were moving forward in participating more in government and everything, and that happened, and that it really dampened their expectations. So I think I'm going to be asking, this is what I also think happened to young people and just Nigerians generally, why they have not been participating in elections. So now let's just also talk about one point. I don't know if you people will agree with me. There are people that feel feel as though the government or the current state of our nation does not affect them personally. Because maybe you go to prayer houses, which is a good thing, and they tell you that we have the government, your government is from heaven and not Nigeria. So sometimes they don't really think that Nigerian government affects them, and I used to be of that notion. So what do you have to say about that?
I don't really understand what you're saying.
You know, okay, let me give you an example. When we have a bad leader on seat and we have this particular problem, let me say I'm looking for employment and I've not seen employment. I don't see that the reason why I am not employed is because I have a bad leader. I see it as maybe my village people are disturbing me. Do you understand? And instead of getting my PVC, I'll go to a prayer house and stay there for days. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So I want to know if I'm the only one that's of that opinion. So I don't know if you agree with me, Jessica. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally understand. But I think this is a matter of religiosity. And it's one thing that is ingrained in Africans. We are we are so religious, and you made mention of expecting something, right, and blaming it on your village people.
Yeah,
which it happens though. Let's not lie. This is Africa. You know. But then I think the problem is mindset. And yes, bad government is one of the causes why people, you know, don't get to get everything that they need, you know, as a state and as a country. But this is also mindset problem, because let's not also forget that in Nigeria you have to get, or you have to know somebody to get opportunity, or to be placed in, you know, positions like whatever it is that you want. But then I also think, like I said before, it's a mindset problem. It is. Let's not forget the fact that the bad government is inclusive, but then mindset is also there, because if I have the right mindset and have the skills and everything, I don't think I will, because there are some people that are incompetent, but they just feel like, okay, this is Nigeria, and I know we are so, we just take anything as it comes, right? Exactly. So you go out there, instead of you to prepare yourself and instead of you to be ready, you just have this biased mindset about getting opportunity based on, you know, thank you, grace, and all those things. So yeah, that's
this is not in any way displaces the place of all these things, like grace and all that. It happens. Okay, Mr. Picard, there is another point that I'm not sure about. One of the reasons that has kept youth from being part of I don't even think, I've just seen people say this a lot, is about the cumbersome process of registration. I know it's hard. I know, like, we're still doing things the analog way. I mean, take myself for example. I went to register for my voter's card and it took me 5 working days.
Did you sleep register there?
I didn't sleep, but I stayed there from 6 to 6. Literally, I'm not even exaggerating. 6 to 6, and there was just one machine at the venue. So someone pointed out that the cumbersome process of registration. But then, do you believe that? Because I don't. I mean, I'm the one that went there for 5 days. I wasn't deterred by how cumbersome that was, and I'm not the only one. We were in our thousands, and I don't think if the cumbersome process of registration has been what has been keeping youths from participating. I mean, do you believe that?
Yes, just like you said, it may not be enough, enough reason to stop someone from going ahead with the process. But the point I would like to make here is that the Nigerian system makes everything difficult.
Unnecessarily.
Everything is just unnecessarily difficult in this country. From registering in university.
Jump.
Remember your registration. School, to clearance, to the banking system. Every single thing, even to Japan now, you still have to queue and wait to get your passport and visas and all of that. So it's just very difficult and unbearable for a lot of people. And then now to add to it the registration, the voters registration is also very, very difficult. And I think that there are so many means of identification in this country. There's the BVN, there's the driver's license, the passports, the NIN is there too. So there are other ways to collate this data if they want it, if they want to do it, and there are other ways to actually even participate in the election processes instead of going to get the PVCs. So we should start thinking out of the box and try to make life easier for the citizens. And I believe that this is some of the things that Peter Obi will bring into the government and the kind of changes that we want to see in Nigeria.
I like what he said. He said that Nigeria just makes things extra hard for you. And if you've noticed, Nigerians are beginning to, how do I say, act like that. You see, you're having a conversation with someone and you're telling him or you're telling her how stressful your day was. Oh my goodness, I went through so much today. You didn't even say anything. Mine was worse. They use stress as a measure. I don't even know how to call it. Nice. That's a shaking mindset. So we've become so used to stress and everything being unnecessarily hard that when things come easy, you start to wonder.
That is why when people go outside the country, you're like, exactly. Then you start questioning a lot of things happening here.
My sister, let's talk about education.
No.
Oh my goodness, you will read in this country. You prepare for exams that you write 3 papers in a day. When you're writing those papers, you've not eaten, you did CDB, that is till daybreak. You read and everything, you come out, then your lecturer will tell you that A is for God, B is for Jesus, C is for my mother, then D is for the rest of you. And you see, for no good reason, they are just stressing you for something that you worked for. And
I think that is a result of...
You not travel abroad. And you see these students that got maybe a 3rd class getting first class.
Exactly. It's easy for us to succeed there than here. I think this is the result of stress. Like if I am stressed, I want to pull that stress or I want to transfer that aggression on everybody. I hate it, especially, I don't even want to talk about the bank issue. Like when you go to the bank, it's as if they are dashing you the money.
Especially this period. There's no cash anywhere.
This is a cashless bad era. Like the
this is one of the terrible times that in Nigerian history of the bank.
Yes.
Of the bank.
I'm thinking, do you guys think this is a strategy? Because election is coming up soon.
That if it's a strategy, it's a very wicked strategy.
True.
A very wicked strategy. Because
it's going to affect the economy.
I saw somebody who told me that, no, my sister was telling me that she saw someone who was trying to get transport because he doesn't have cash. And he's been trying to withdraw money. There's no money in the banks. POS is charging 1,000 to withdraw 5,000 naira. Wow. He doesn't have that, and he's begging. It's not as if he doesn't have money. He doesn't have access to his money. What kind of an insane country is that? Who does that? And it's just really heartbreaking. I don't want to get emotional. All right, let's dive in more. Let's talk about. We've talked about the cumbersome process of registration. We've already mentioned the costs. I don't want to go back to that. Now let's talk about the reasons why some people have not been participating. We have the elites in Nigeria, the 1% of the 1%. They are the people who don't feel like that anything that bad governance brings to the table, it doesn't affect them because they have money. If there's no light, they will turn on their gen. If there is no
travel out,
if they want to seek healthcare, they travel out. So they don't really experience these things. But I like the fact that insecurity affects everybody.
Exactly.
Because if you're staying in a state that is insecure, it will surely reach you. It's just a matter of time. So I want us to conclude on, should we talk about anything? Let's conclude on that. Let's talk about how the fact that everybody is feeling the heat this period. Everybody is feeling that. What do you want to contribute to that, Jessica?
I think that it's a natural thing, because let's talk about the fact that I don't know if you remember when flood was an issue in Lagos, and this Lekki, I don't know the particular area, but then they were facing heavy flood issue. So someone was like, no matter how much you have or no matter how wealthy you are, you're still going to, Nigeria is still going to do you somehow. You're still going to face the issue in Nigeria. So except people who are, I don't know, but even if you have the money and everything to travel out of this country, what if in that particular point in time where issues are happening? What if it affects you before you have the chance to travel out?
Or what if it affects your family members?
Exactly, because definitely you cannot carry your village people and go outside of the country. Somehow somebody in your village or your siblings or your cousin will be affected, and it will still, you know, bother you or something. So yeah, that's one of it.
Pikachu, just contribute something.
Oh, yes, it's terrible. You know the situation in Nigeria today, where you have almost 63% of the population living in poverty. Okay, this is just according to the national MPI, that indicating that poor people in Nigeria experience just over 1/4 of all poor. 65% of the poor, that's 86 million people, live in the north, while 35%, nearly 47 million people, live in the south. I've always had this thought in my head that when the poor people in the nation so much, it will get to a time that they will begin to prey on the rich.
Yeah.
You know? And that is what we're seeing today.
Exactly.
Where anybody that drives a big car is a target. Yes, the kidnaps that are going on everywhere now. Once you're just living a good life and you look like you just have a little cash,
small money,
you're a target. And it's terrible.
Yeah, it's very terrible.
Even those people now that are wealthy, sometimes disguised.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I will not forget to mention this, sorry. There was a man I heard of who dressed as a madman when he was traveling to his village during this Christmas period. He has money. And you know how this thing works? When a rich man comes back, you know, you have a fancy house, they give them, I don't know who gives, but they give them information that this man is back, or chief Aka something is back. You understand? And then so what they do is that they come back, disguise themselves, and go to a hotel and lodge. I saw a lot. If you go to hotels during Christmas period, you see families, you see the mother, you see the children, you see in hotel, because they're running away from the. I mean, really sad in the house that you built with your money. You can't even live in it. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yes. It's terrible. It's terrible because our politicians just think that they can, you know, embezzle this money and use it for themselves alone, and they forget. Just look at what is happening in the north. The Northerners have held power for the longest time, yet they are the most impoverished sector of the country. Yet, you know, there are people that are living in abject poverty. Okay, so but that's why the Boko Haram, the ISWAP, and all those terrorist organizations are able to thrive in such environments because a lot of the people there are living in poverty, and it has come to a time that even the politicians themselves can't go back home.
They're scared of their life as well.
They're scared of going back home to their villages. They can't be with their people. A lot of people in the north are displaced and living in IDP camps.
Wow.
It's terrible. So now what you see is that the poor are now preying and feeding
on the rich.
Off the rich by kidnapping them. It has become a big business in Nigeria today, where you make hundreds of millions from kidnap. Okay, it's terrible. It's really terrible and heartbreaking.
It is.
Thank you for that. Anyway, I support what Speaker said. No, I didn't reason it in that direction. I think the problem that we are facing currently in Nigeria, like someone would just make 10 years of wealth in just one day by kidnapping, and then when you reason it, you're like, boy, it's like we can't start this business.
This is crazy.
And it's not good. It's not something to even laugh about because it doesn't make sense at all. Yeah, that's what I want to say though.
I feel like you both have said everything that should be said, and on that note, we're just going to be rounding off, and we are praying, and we have our PVCs to vote in Mr. Peter B.
Yes.
And before we round off, we are giving a shout out to these women that have been doing tremendous things to Indicator. Not just them. We're just talking Indicator and Kazuri are part of Mr. Peter B's spokesperson. So yes, and Aisha Yusuf is also part of the campaign team. So these are the ones that we are mentioning. That doesn't mean that other women are not supporting the movement or pushing the movement in any way. So that would be a wrap from us. It's been such a beautiful conversation. I've had such a nice time, and let's do this again. Let's talk more about about the problems of this country just a little bit more, because we need to speak up more about these things. Okay, so that is the end for today, and this is still Obedient Women on Obidati Family TV. Do not forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at Obidati Family TV, and you can also find me on my personal social media account. It's at Sharon Chuku on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. What about you?
At official P Catch. I can see that my the producer is still trying to put my name out there. Okay, it's at official P Catch on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter.
Okay, so you can follow me on Instagram, Jessica__.
On Facebook?
No, that's Twitter and Instagram.
Okay, all right. Okay, that will be all from us. Till we see you next time. Have a good day and bye.